Have you ever felt disconnected from what truly makes you happy? Sometimes it feels like we're just passing the time, without really knowing where to go. The secret to unlocking your true potential and finding your passion isn't about doing more, but discovering what truly drives you. And the best part? This discovery can begin now, in a simpler and quicker way than you might imagine. Ready to understand how? Life often feels like an endless crossroads full of choices that leave us confused. However, those who have already discovered their purpose know that things become much clearer. Finding the reason for which you live brings an almost inexhaustible energy, capable of eliminating distractions that previously seemed impossible to overcome. This purpose works like a compass, guiding decisions, filtering opportunities, and showing day by day where it's worth investing effort. And it doesn't have to be something grand or complicated. It can be as simple as finding joy in helping others or creating something that improves people's lives. Have you noticed how the small things that motivate us daily can become a powerful fuel? When we have a clear purpose, even mundane tasks like starting the day or dealing with challenges gain new meaning. A person who works with what they love, for example, finds joy in solving problems that would just be obstacles for others. Imagine someone who has discovered their passion for cooking. This individual transforms the simple act of preparing a meal into a ritual of creation and personal expression. The same happens in other areas of life. Purpose turns the ordinary into extraordinary. But it's not always easy to cut through the noise around us and see what really drives us. In a world full of distractions, social networks, and external pressures, the feeling of being lost can be common. The good news is that the right motivation doesn't come from outside, but from within. For those still searching for this purpose, a good strategy is to gradually eliminate what doesn't add value. This might mean letting go of activities or relationships that drain your energy, making more time to focus on what truly matters. Now you might be asking, where do I start? The first step is always to look within. Take time to reflect on what brings you satisfaction and where you feel you're contributing meaningfully. It might help to write daily about your feelings after each activity. Small actions like these help create a mental map pointing towards the most fulfilling paths. Gradually, what seemed confusing starts to make sense, bringing a natural and sustainable motivation. The question of discovering purpose is ongoing, and no one said it has to be something fixed for life. After all, as we evolve, our priorities also change. However, finding a solid foundation of motivation early on can make things much easier. And this is just the beginning. When you understand better who you are and what drives you, you can delve deeper into exploring the unique skills you possess, which is exactly what the next step involves. Every person carries with them a unique talent, something that distinguishes them from everyone else. From an early age, our inclinations begin to appear, even if subtly. These characteristics, which we sometimes ignore or underestimate, are true gifts that can shape our entire path. Identifying them is like discovering a tool that was always there, waiting to be used. Have you noticed how in moments of tranquility, those activities emerge that you would do for pure pleasure, without anyone needing to force you? Exploring these inclinations is a process that requires patience and curiosity. Often, we are so conditioned to follow conventional paths that we stop looking at those clues that have been with us since childhood. Maybe you were that kid who loved to take apart toys to see how they worked, or perhaps you loved organizing games with your friends. These small details that may seem insignificant are actually major indicators of where your talent lies. And the most interesting thing is that when you look back, many of these signs are still present in the adult you are today. But recognizing these talents is just the beginning. After identifying them, the next step is to give them the attention they deserve and invest in their development. It's important to remember that every talent, no matter how natural, needs to be cultivated. Just like an athlete trains to reach their best performance, you also need to polish your skills. A practical tip: start studying and practicing, even if just for 30 minutes a day, something related to what piques your curiosity. Whether it's painting, writing, programming, or even meditating, the time invested in your talent returns in the form of self-confidence and growth. This introspection process also teaches us to value uniqueness. What is unique to you may not be the same for someone else, and that's what makes the world so rich and diverse. When we recognize our talents, we stop trying to fit into pre-established molds and start creating our own path. And more, understanding and embracing our abilities gives us a sense of belonging to our own destiny, as if we are finally walking the path that was always ours. And so, by aligning your talents with the purpose you've already started to explore, the pieces begin to fall into place. But this journey of self-discovery goes beyond looking only at the present. The next step involves an even deeper dive into the past, where you'll find valuable clues about your true passions, especially in childhood memories. Since we were young, we've been driven by an almost insatiable curiosity. As children, we have that natural urge to explore the world, and often we don't realize that amidst those games and interests are the seeds of what truly makes us happy. Those activities we did with passion, without expecting anything in return, reveal a lot about who we really are. Have you ever stopped to think about the things you did as a child and how they might be connected to your present? These childhood interests are like hidden clues telling us what truly awakens our soul. Maybe you were that kid who spent hours creating stories with your dolls, and today you feel a constant urge to write or express yourself creatively. Or perhaps you loved spending afternoons building things with blocks, and now you find yourself with a sharp mind for solving problems and creating innovative solutions. The answers are often in the past, in the things that made us lose track of time. Rediscovering these passions can be a revealing and practical exercise. You can start by recalling activities you did effortlessly that brought you genuine joy. One suggestion is to grab a notebook and jot down your most memorable childhood moments, the things you loved to do without any filter. Revisiting these memories can help you realize that they may guide you towards interests and talents that have lain dormant over the years. This kind of mental archaeology is one of the most powerful ways to rediscover our true essence. And you know what's even more interesting? Many of these childhood passions can connect directly to your current purpose. By integrating these interests into your adult life, you'll be aligning what made you happy with what drives you today. This doesn't mean you need to become a child again, but rather to bring that purity of intentions into the decisions you make now. The energy that comes from following these passions is much more powerful than any external motivation because it's directly connected to who you've always been. However, this journey is not without challenges. Throughout life, we face external pressures, responsibilities, and distractions that pull us away from these genuine passions. The next step is learning to navigate these challenges while keeping the focus and discipline necessary to stay on this valuable path. As we grow up, life starts to put us at a constant crossroads of choices, responsibilities, and distractions. Many times, these external pressures pull us away from what truly motivates us and makes us happy. Keeping focus on what matters requires a special skill, the ability to filter out what's not relevant. And this isn't easy. It's like a dance between what we desire and what the world expects from us. But it's precisely in these moments that the practice of mental archaeology becomes valuable, a process of digging deep and recovering those forgotten passions and impulses. Overcoming these challenges requires conscious effort. It's not about eliminating all distractions, because modern life simply doesn't allow that. Instead, it's about learning to navigate them without losing sight of what's important. A practical example is using mindfulness techniques that help bring the mind back to the present and focus on what truly matters. This can be applied by dedicating a few minutes of your day to reflecting on your priorities, or even creating a to-do list that truly aligns with your purpose, discarding what just takes up time without adding value. Challenges also come in the form of social expectations. Perhaps you feel pressured to follow a safe and conventional path when deep down you know that your passion would lead you down a less traditional route. This internal battle is common, and overcoming it requires courage and self-awareness. When you know yourself well enough to understand what truly motivates you, it becomes easier to resist the temptations to follow the crowd, Remember, what works for others may not be what makes you happy, and it's okay to take a different path. Even so, the process of staying focused on your purpose is ongoing and full of restarts. There's no problem in straying from the path every now and then. The important thing is always returning to it. An example of this could be someone who, despite having strayed from their passion for art to pursue a more secure career, decides to return to painting or sculpting after years. This return is powerful because it brings with it accumulated life experience and a new perspective. There's always time to adjust the course and return to what truly matters. The key to dealing with these challenges is developing a strong sense of self-awareness. When you know what really drives you, it becomes much easier to cut through distractions and stay focused on what matters. And it's precisely this self-awareness, combined with discipline, that will keep you firm on the path to your purpose. Something we'll explore more deeply in the next step. Self-awareness is one of the greatest gifts someone can cultivate throughout life. When you understand yourself on a deep level, every action you take begins to make more sense. This self-knowledge is what helps you maintain the discipline necessary to stay on the chosen path. It's natural to feel lazy or discouraged at times, but the key is having an emotional connection to your purpose. When you're truly emotionally engaged with something, discipline stops being an obligation and becomes a natural consequence of your involvement. Discipline doesn't need to be seen as something rigid or punitive, but rather as a way to build what you desire in the long term. Think of a musician who wants to become a master of their instrument. They don't practice because they're forced to, but because they know that every minute dedicated to their talent brings them closer to mastery. The same is true for anyone aligned with their purpose. When you have clarity about what you want to achieve, discipline becomes a tool to accomplish what you desire most. And it's flexible, allowing you to adjust the pace according to your needs. Maintaining discipline also requires eliminating what no longer serves you. Many times we hold on to habits, people, or commitments that end up distracting us from the path we've chosen. Self-awareness gives you the ability to identify these barriers and make the necessary adjustments. A practical tip for improving discipline is to set aside a moment of your day, even if brief, to reconnect with your goals. It can be something as simple as reflecting on what you did or didn't do and what can be improved the next day. This habit gradually strengthens your focus and keeps you aligned with what truly matters. Another crucial point is to remember that discipline isn't something that's developed overnight. Just as an athlete trains their body, you can also train your mind and emotions. Small habits repeated daily create a solid foundation of discipline. For example, if your goal is to learn something new, start with 15 minutes of daily practice. Over time, this becomes a natural part of your day, and before you know it, you've mastered the habit. Consistency is the real secret to building long-term discipline, and it's something anyone can cultivate. When you combine self-awareness and discipline, the result is a life more aligned with your values and goals. This combination gives you the strength to overcome obstacles, maintain focus, and keep moving forward even when things seem tough. But there's one more essential element in this journey: time. The next step involves the patience and reflection necessary to mature and continue evolving. Time is one of the greatest allies in the process of self-discovery and personal growth. Most people are in a hurry to achieve results, but the true understanding of yourself and your purpose only comes with patience. Sometimes it's necessary to stop, look back, and reflect on past experiences. Both victories and failures are important in shaping who we are. Each mistake, each difficult moment, brings a valuable lesson, and only with time can we see these lessons clearly. This continuous reflection is what allows you to adjust your course throughout the journey. Imagine that life is like sailing a boat. You can chart the course, but the wind and tides might veer you off. And that's normal. By reflecting on the path taken, you can make the necessary corrections to avoid getting lost. A good example of this is someone who, throughout life, has tried different careers or passions and only later realized what truly makes sense. What's important isn't how fast you get there, but the clarity that you're on the right path. Time is also fundamental for maturing our relationship with purpose. The idea that we need to have everything figured out in a short time is a myth. Many people only find their true path in life after decades of experience, and that's far from being a problem. In fact, this accumulated experience brings a depth that is only possible with time. By looking at the past with new eyes, you realize that each moment played its part, and that, often, the answers you were looking for were always there, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. Reflection is also a powerful tool for understanding what truly matters. Many times, we're so immersed in our routines that we lose perspective of what we're seeking. Taking time to reflect on the choices and paths already taken allows for continuous realignment. If you've ever gone through moments where you felt like you were just going with the flow without really questioning your decisions, then reflection might be what's missing. Set aside moments for yourself, away from distractions, and allow yourself to question what you're doing and where it's leading you. With time and reflection comes the understanding that it's never too late to change. Many people who found their true purpose did so later in life, after a series of trial and error. What's important is to keep moving, learning, and adjusting the course as necessary. After all, life is a continuous journey of growth, and time is the tool that helps us see things in a new light. And with that, the cycle completes itself, opening space for new discoveries and challenges. Now that you know the paths to unlock your true potential and find your passion, the question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Are you ready to leave behind distractions and reconnect with what truly matters? Don't wait for the right moment. The moment is now. If you want to live a life aligned with your talents and deepest desires, start applying these principles today. What will be your first step? Share in the comments what caught your attention the most and how you plan to use this knowledge. And don't forget, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to keep learning and evolving on this journey of self-discovery.